Hello. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for giving me some of your time. I'm looking forward to talking about a report that came out this week from the Aspen Institute, the Financial Security Program. And the title of the report is titled From Rent to Riches. And it is just packed with all sorts of data in the disparities between renters and homeowners and the challenges that renters have in building wealth in America. And there's some headline data that we've all heard before, and then there's some sub-contextual data that we probably haven't seen before and should be, eye-opening to us. I think it's important, and it should inspire us to make sure we're serving, all Americans, including renters, and helping them, achieve the American dream of home ownership and the related wealth that it creates. So I'm going to highlight some of the things on the report, and then we'll wrap up. I'm going to put a link to this report down below. I also did a lengthy LinkedIn summary of this report this morning with a link to the report. I'm only going to touch on 4 or 5 data points from this report that is literally 49 pages, has I think 12 sections and a ton of data. You may pick other data points that seem more important to you, but I'm going to pick the ones that jumped out to me. But I encourage you to look at the entire report. So I'm going to share my screen, and here's the report. Beautiful report, really well done. You can see it's 49 pages. We're going to jump to page 5 right now. And this is the headline number that we've all seen. And this is the disparity in wealth between renters and homeowners. And so as you can see in 2022, and let me just say that number is bigger today than it was in 2022. That number's much higher. But in 2022, the average net worth of a renter was $10,400. At the same time, the average net worth of a homeowner in 2022 was $396,500, nearly 40 times the net worth. And that number's widened. When we get the 2024 numbers, those are going to be a much bigger spread. So that's the thing that really jumped out at me. Now, I will tell you, at the very end, which I'm not going to be able to show you, in the appendix, they have a chart by housing type, renter versus homeowner, by age group. The age group with the lowest amount of net worth are renters over the age of 51. Yeah, is that incredible? Or seniors, right? The average net worth of a senior, let's call a senior over the age of 51. So a renter over the age of 51, their average net worth is just $7,600. We can do something about that. All right, so the next chart I want to share with you guys here on page 12, that's not what we want, that's page 6, let's try page 12. This is one of those interesting insights, and what this is how respondents self-reported their sense of financial well-being. And as you can see from this chart, renters only 54% of renters had any sort of sense of financial well-being, so about a half. But 81% of homeowners had a sense of financial well-being. So as you understand, homeowners are more than almost twice as likely to have this sense of financial well-being, that they're okay, versus renters. It's a huge disparity. And then I'll share the next disparity. And there's, I'm jumping around between reports, but I'll tell you every single page is startling, these disparities between renters and homeowners. Not surprising, but startling. And so here's the next thing. Renters have much lower credit scores. As a matter of fact, of all the people that have a 550 or less, 84% of them are renters. So renters, are the people that make up most of the low FICO scores. 27% of renters have a FICO score below 620, while only 5% of homeowners have a score below 620. And only 27% of renters have FICO scores above 750, while over half of homeowners have a credit score above 750. And so as you can see the chart here, just renters just have a lower credit. Now, sometimes it's because their rent isn't being recorded by the bureaus. There's all sorts of things that go into this, but it's a problem. Now, there's also, in this report, which I'm not going to cover, there's a difference in cash flow, residual income, all sorts of really good data that you'll probably find a lot of interest in. Also in asset ownership, only half of renters own an appreciating asset. Appreciating asset being like a stock, a bond, something that appreciates, that doesn't include a car, by the way, but something that appreciates less than half. When of course all homeowners do because they own a home. But 78% of homeowners own an appreciating asset outside of their home. So they're more likely to invest. They're more likely to participate in their company's 401k. They're more likely to invest in their IRA. Now, it's not just because of their disposable income. It also has to do with their makeup. Sometimes homeowners are more financially savvy or disciplined because a lot of these, as we're going to see, a lot of these renters could afford to participate in their company's 401ks. They don't, and it has to do with financial literacy in a lot of cases. All right, so speaking to that, I really like this. I really like this model that I'm about to show you from the report. And this is the conditions need to be present for people to build wealth. And that's the model. There's one precondition, and then there's a first stage, and then there's the middle stage and the final stage. So the first condition to build wealth is financial stability. And honestly, a lot of renters don't have financial stability. They're living paycheck to paycheck, and they may not even have enough, may not earn enough to cover all their bills. And this report covers that in other sections. But the first thing is you got to have financial stability. The second thing is you have to actually amass some investable sums. So that means you have to be able to more than afford your monthly expenses. You need to have a little bit of cushion so that becomes an investable sum. In the next section then you need to have the vehicle to be able to purchase these assets. How do you make the investments, right? And then finally, it's the wealth maintenance. And in this, by the way, in this model, a large part of it is financial literacy. Financial literacy is a really important condition that supports almost all of the things in the green. If you read this, if you read all the text here, it's going to talk about financial literacy drives this model. Really, really interesting. Now, there's one other section which I'm not going to go in depth in. That is the profiles of renters. In the report, they bucket renters into 3 types. Now that doesn't come to 100% of the renters, just 3 basic types. The first is lower income renters, which is about 25% of renters. The second one is moderate income renters, which is about 20% of renters. Those are people that earn $65,000 a year. And then there's higher income renters, which is over 20% of the renters. And those are people that earn over $100,000 a year. And they profile who these people are and why they're renters and what their obstacles to ownership are. And some of them is by personal choice. Sometimes it's not. This report is well worth reading. It is, as I told you, I'm going to put a link to this below. I did a LinkedIn write-up of this, extensive bullet points in my LinkedIn write-up. I also did links to it. I hope you read this report, and more so, we can, as real estate and mortgage professionals, we can change this. We can help people get into homes. We can change this outcome if we just lean into it. That's my message today. Thank you.